Story 1. People here call out bots. You can find real answers to questions and learn from people's crazy life situations. People are more authentic here than what is popular. Will it stay that way? Maybe, but there are starting to be more suspicious posts and private money is involved now. Story 2. I got tired of being disappointed by the people I know on Facebook, so I decided to spend more time on Reddit, where the uninformed opinions of strangers don't bother me as much. Story 3. I use it as a way to decompress and as a learning tool. I believe every topic known to humanity can be found here. Story 4. Reddit can be an entertaining way to pass the time. Some of the things people say here are hilarious, and it can also be informative. Story 5. For marketing and socializing. Story 6. Because I enjoy reading rather than wasting time watching low-effort videos with text-to-speech from platforms like TikTok or YouTube. Story 7. Find answers on the topics I am interested in and relax by reading stories and discussions. Story 8. I thought it would be a good place to help bring people together in this challenging political landscape, and it would be wise to start a conversation with both sides. I have learned that everyone has at least a little empathy, but fear keeps people in their comfort zones. It is disheartening to see that things are so polarized on this platform. Everyone deserves rights, necessities, and protection. Story 9. I cannot use TikTok at work. I have been using it for many years without any suitable replacements. I would love to find something else, though. This place has changed. Story 10. To pass time or to find answers to niche questions in specific hobby-related forums, and to enjoy cat pictures. Story 11. I enjoy the conversations and I learn new things. To me, any day that you learn something is a good day. Story 12. All my favorite technology forums have closed, so this is the next best option. I really miss the old days of forums where you could easily find information and comments were organized and easy to locate. Now, the few that remain are mostly inactive with few new posts. Story 13. I would say it feels more genuine than other social networks like Instagram, which often focus on self-promotion and superficial influencers trying to make money. Here, it's more about engaging in discussions and having fun together. Story 14. Because most traditional subject-specific forums or bulletin boards have either shut down or are difficult to register for. Story 15. I am not sure anymore. I left all the usual social media platforms and was using Reddit as an additional source of legitimate news stories and some interesting subreddits for entertainment or areas of interest. However, with the oversaturation of politics now in nearly every subreddit, I have come close to reaching my limit. I am contemplating deleting my account and spending my time elsewhere. I do not want to do this, but I do not see things changing anytime soon, and the polarizing behaviors are continuing and worsening. Therefore, I may be using Reddit for absolutely nothing in the near future, not that anyone will notice, as the impact will be a personal achievement only. Story 16. I haven't been active lately. Some users reported me for having a differing opinion, claiming it upset them regarding the Idaho 4 case, and they even tried to report me to a suicide hotline. Overzealous individuals ruin discussions online. Free speech is stifled on the internet because of these kinds of people. I can't wait until those who aspire to be communists experience true Marxism. I'm glad I have some years behind me. Story 17. I have become very tired of social media and its impact on society and people's minds. Here, I can remain anonymous, participate in conversations, and gain insight and perspective without having to see what my childhood best friend's children are doing. I feel burned out by the constant need for connection. I've been much happier since I decided to focus on Reddit. Story 18. Scrolling endlessly, I follow my hobbies and interests. Additionally, I moderate a community for amateur writers where we share our work. Story 19. This is the only social media site left that still feels like the original forums from back in the day. I am also very invested. Story 20. I follow all the MIs. I like tea and knowing what is going on in other people's lives. Plus, sometimes it helps me. Story 21. I have been here since 2013, or maybe even earlier. I first joined because it seemed to be such a close-knit community, despite having millions of followers. Now, I mostly stay for the cat photos. The moderators of the subreddits have made it nearly impossible to post anymore. Story 22. Information can be tailored better to your interests. Social media platforms feel like an invasion of privacy due to excessive advertisements. Story 23. The alternatives are Blue Sky, X, Instagram, and Facebook. If there were anything else, I wouldn't be here. Story 24. I enjoy being anonymous, but I don't have anything to hide my identity for. It's nice to avoid the pressure from mainstream social media to appear as cool and interesting as possible. I also enjoy sharing the things I create with other creative communities. Story 25. I have a lot of information about my interests in hair, wrestling, drumming, and teaching, so I try to help where I can and think about how I can make a change. Sometimes, I read crazy stories for entertainment and to hopefully find a real meetup. My reasoning is my high libido, and I'm also running a business, which is stressful. I need ways to release that tension and definitely need to find healthier alternatives. I believe if I can find someone who shares my interests and desires, we can build a meaningful connection and find the perfect partnership. I need to start focusing on myself rather than always prioritizing a partner. Story 26. I find it refreshing because it is not based on pictures or videos. I actually have to read and am exposed to different views and opinions instead of being overwhelmed by people trying to showcase themselves and their lives like on Instagram. Story 27. I started using it daily recently. I was looking for alternatives to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Story 28. I can be completely honest without worrying about upsetting people I know in real life. I live in deep red rural southern United States. Being anything left of fairly right can be hazardous to your ability to earn a living. I get to reach out to the real world and be reminded of the millions of people who are not racist supporters of the Make America Great Again movement. Keeps me hopeful that they won't win and that decency has some value. The downvote button is absolutely the most vital feature of the site. People need to be voted to the bottom of the discussion, not headlining it. Yes, Reddit has many issues, primarily misogyny in my humble opinion, but it's still vastly more egalitarian than platforms like Facebook. Story 29. For the content of the television show, Step by Step. Occasionally, I may explore another topic like this one. Story 30. Creative expression, community bonding, and the unique dynamics of online anonymity, as well as adult content and humorous images. Story 31. I ended up here after discovering that the only relevant and usable Google results came from Reddit. I created an account and everything else is history. This was over 10 years ago. Story 32. Communities with niche interests like music and gaming can be quite engaging. I find it amusing to challenge political ideologies by playing the devil's advocate. Online platforms often attract a variety of political viewpoints. Additionally, there are entertaining and playful content that can lighten the mood. Story 33. It's much better than any other social media platform. There is no algorithm and very few ads. It has content to make you laugh, cry, and everything in between, as well as being a great source of information and support. No one is on Reddit trying to get famous or using clickbait for views. It feels more like it is for the people by the people. Story 34. I dislike social media that involves personal information and find discussions on Reddit somewhat peculiar, although they are better than Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms. Most people here can be unreasonable, but occasionally you can engage in meaningful discussions, which I truly value. Story 35. I am using the internet on my cellular data, which is limited. Other platforms have lower charges for data. Additionally, people on Reddit appear logical and knowledgeable. Story 36. To escape the real world, it doesn't work, but it does give me cat pictures and anime, so I'm not complaining. Story 37. Part of Reddit gives me a sense of community. I am in subreddits related to my city, Las Vegas, and my hobbies. Part of the appeal is that it makes me feel better about myself when reading about many people's issues. Additionally, it serves as entertainment. People can be very talented and creative in their responses. Of course, the occasional nudity is entertaining as well. Story 38. I enjoy sharing information. I spare the people in my life from it and instead express my thoughts in writing. Someone may read what I write, or perhaps no one will. Ideally, I would receive more engagement, but at the end of the day, it generally satisfies my need to share. Story 39. I can express myself naturally. I am learning a lot about law, physics, astrophysics, and history by reading various international discussions. I have seen amusing stories, including one about a parrot with a sock for a wife and two legendary tales from an online forum. Although I am not friends with anyone here, there are a few communities that make me feel less alone and insignificant. Receiving public validation through upvotes also provides a dopamine boost. The original platform was great, but since the CEO took over a few years ago, it has changed significantly and not for the better. Still, everything keeps moving forward whether we like it or not. Story 40. To experience pleasure, it can occur in many ways, including sharing facts, answering people's questions in an easy manner, or simply enjoying yourself. Story 41. Because Twitter was destroyed by an individual who exhibits troubling behavior. Story 42. 3 reasons. 1. To access the most up-to-date national and global news. To ask questions and learn from others on topics of interest. For entertainment. Story 43. I like how organized it is. Finding any subject I want to discuss is very easy compared to other mainstream social media platforms. Story 44. It was originally intended as a platform to vent about small things happening in my life, but now it serves more as a place to make friends and offer advice to others. I do feel a bit sad that I have yet to have a conversation with someone that isn't focused on me selling content or inappropriate comments. However, I remain hopeful. Story 45. It's the only platform where I receive proper attention for my posts. Here, it's like sharing notes on a community board, while other platforms feel like throwing a message in a bottle into the ocean. Story 46. There are a few useful technical subreddits that are worth keeping an account for. Everything else is not valuable. Story 47. There are both funny and interesting things here, and I like the ability to browse communities dedicated to specific subjects. If I'm feeling lazy, I can trust the algorithm to show me things I like. Story 48. I am shy, introverted, and no longer interact with others my age. I have no social life because I am allergic to the sun and live in Texas. I have already graduated from college. I enjoy talking and messaging with others in a friendly and innocent manner. Story 49. Reading about topics I am interested in, finding people I can learn from, seeking advice, reviews, and experiences. Story 50. Facebook. Advertisements mixed with random posts. Every 15 posts includes a friend sharing another post. Twitter. A platform for extreme views. YouTube. Comments often feel empty, lacking a real community. Reddit. A space for semi-sane people who genuinely engage in meaningful discussions. I feel too old for Instagram, TikTok, and I do not understand Snapchat. Story 51. Every time I look up a question, Reddit is the first search result. I decided to cut out the middleman and install Reddit. Plus, I get to interact with the fan bases of the series I like. Story 52. I mostly use it for posting my paintings and getting advice and feedback from other painters, learning new things about painting, and encouraging other artists. Sometimes I browse out of boredom. I am on it a lot today because I have bacterial pneumonia and can't do much right now. Story 53. The communities on Reddit are unmatched by any other social media site in this regard. Additional positive aspects are a valuable bonus. Story 54. Mainly because, even if it's unrealistic, I want to see if I can appear in an undersparked video or with another person who enjoys sharing the stories of others on YouTube. Story 55. I have no idea. Maybe it's because I've convinced myself that it's less distracting than YouTube. At least I need to think here. Story 56. I grew up reading at a very early age, alone and silently, but I vividly heard the words in my head with tone and emotion that I had not experienced in real life. Decades later, I still love reading and, in second place, writing more than any other activities. They are the foundations of communication that connect us. Each day, posts on Reddit have brought me to tears, driven me to roll my eyes, prompted me to curse out loud, given me secondhand embarrassment, and allowed me to ponder people, places, and ideas like never before. The best posts for me are those that have compelled me to laugh. I'm so grateful for the laughs. Story 57. No matter what product I own, if I have a question about it, someone is an expert and can assist me. Story 58. I was hoping to find people who have gone through similar experiences to mine. I am going through a really tough time, and I would love to hear any advice or just know that I am not alone. Additionally, I would appreciate any memes or interesting information that could help take my mind off things for a while. Story 59. I started out looking for a recipe someone told me about. Now, I am exploring it for various options. Story 60. It is more interesting here than on some other toxic social media platforms. There is more tolerance and a generally higher level of intelligence among the users. Story 61. Every imaginable niche topic is available in its own subreddit. This is the ultimate boredom killer. Story 62. Guild recruitment for a mobile and PC game I originally played. I hardly use it for that now. I just engage in random swiping. Story 63. I enjoy sharing ideas, gaining perspective, supporting others, discovering information, and having a laugh from time to time. Story 64. I used to read posts about games and see developer updates. Now, it feels like a hindrance in my life, and I don't know why I am still here, other than to engage with the community. Story 65. Believe it or not, for me, it's the only place on the internet where I don't see cries for attention or feel the need for self-validation, constant toxicity, and the negativity that is the norm everywhere else. I know what you all think. On Reddit, are you serious? It's because of how Reddit is structured. It can be a blissful place where you come for good conversation or advice. It all depends on the communities you choose. You make it your Reddit by handpicking parts of it that suit you, and it is exactly what you want it to be. Story 66. It is a nice combination of adult content, specialized information on various topics, and some of the most unusual individuals the human race has ever produced. There is a wide range of material here to keep me entertained. Story 67. Because I enjoy it and feel like using it. Also, as someone else mentioned, I'm here to observe and participate. Story 68. I enjoy hearing differing viewpoints and opinions, as well as understanding why people hold them. Additionally, I have been a lifelong gamer and I love gaming communities. Some of the memes are hilarious. I also like reading the news. Lastly, I have an interest in adult content. Story 69. Unfortunately, I am realizing that this place is not healthy due to the constant and unrelenting negativity. My mental health has declined as a result. Story 70. Because I can mostly control which subreddits I view, while on other social media, I only see people either praising or complaining about Agent Orange. Story 71. I don't have Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or Instagram. I just need a platform that my family isn't on so they can't push their political opinions on me when I really couldn't care less. Story 72. I feel that people here are generally more serious and intelligent than on other social media platforms I use. Story 73. I find it useful to gain the perspective of others and learn from their mistakes and successes. Story 74. Shits and giggles, advice on various topics like cat toys and restaurants, video game content, and like everyone else, a bit of trolling from time to time. Story 75. Honestly, people can be quite wild online. It is surprising how some individuals behave while blaming others. A very small group takes accountability, and many do not feel responsible for the things they say. It is nice to see how people genuinely feel about various topics, even if their knowledge or experience is limited. In person, people often seek my approval or aim to be perceived positively. Online, no one knows who I am, so they express themselves freely. It is definitely a mix of observing others and validating my own behavior in real life. Story 76. If you curate your subscriptions well, Reddit can be quite enjoyable. Where else can I have meaningful discussions about the Hunger Games series and Red Dead Redemption? Story 77. It's interesting. I can communicate with people like me. I can find the information I need in various forums. In the end, I can just have fun. Story 78. I rejoined to express my frustration with dating, but I apparently lost my account. I created a new one and got sidetracked trying to gain karma, although I don't think my old account had much since I barely used Reddit. I currently find it slightly more entertaining than other social media. Story 79. It has changed over time. I started using writing prompts because I needed something to do during overnight shifts. Now I discover useful information on niche interests. Story 80. I was wondering about that. It has been great for me for over a decade now, but I am almost done. Story 81. Sometimes there is really useful pizza. I hesitate to compliment it because about a third of the time it is absolutely and utterly disappointing. However, that's not how things should work. I have also collected a few good photos, which I personally have used to help me sleep while traveling. I like some of the creature photos and other random images. Overall, it has fewer bad days than when it was new. Story 82. I hear good gossip, have fun, can help a little, and even fight if I'm in the mood. What more can I ask for? Story 83. I used Twitter for a long time until last fall, so I came over here. I enjoy reading people's opinions on technology, food, travel, and current events. Story 84. Honestly, I intended to promote my Fansly, but I ended up in an arcane community. I believe I will spend my time reading various theories instead of focusing on my main goal. Story 85. 3 reasons. 1. Pornography. 2. To support my fellow men and create a positive environment where they can learn to appreciate each other without demeaning or excluding women. We need to cultivate self-love while showing respect to the wonderful women in our lives. Yakuza. Story 86. Useful subreddits, humorous posts, meeting people, and learning new perspectives on various topics. Facebook is dull, and I dislike scrolling through TikTok, but seeing posts here is excellent entertainment. Story 87. I recently discovered this platform, and I love it. It is the best social media platform available. You can have adult conversations without interference from those who complain about differing views. I truly enjoy using it. Story 88. DIY people's experiences laughing at stupidity, cool retro vintage media, asking questions and offering solutions. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.